possibilities in a negative sense. They might be really naive. Perceiving functions. To gather sensory information and to make abstract meanings. How do we view the world? What information are we gathering from our surroundings? What is our understanding of the dynamics and the relationships and everything that's happening in the world? Well, perceiving functions are trying to answer those questions. In this video, we're discussing intuition functions, which are in axis with the sensing function. So we have introverted intuition in axis with extroverted sensing. We have extroverted intuition in axis with introverted sensing. We need both of them, okay? We need both of them because they balance each other out. We need sensory information and we need abstract information. Intuition functions are more concerned what is underlying with finding the underlying things. The intuition functions are trying to do comparison between abstract concepts, things, dynamics. It transforms different meanings and concepts into other ones. And because of these processes happening in our brain, some details might be lost. That's why the intuition functions are not detail-oriented, because they think in more like ideas and concepts. Let's start with extroverted intuition. So it's an intuition process that is focused on the external world. So it's like perceiving things externally. What does that mean? It is basically trying to make a huge, large scope of the reality. And you have so much mental focus on the large portion of reality that you completely lose the details. That's why an extroverted intuition user's ideas and thoughts are less tangible, less concrete, but just more abstract and vague. It is trying to look at the different moving parts, the dynamics of them, the meanings of them, and because it is using its introverted sensing and stemming from that multiple different possibilities, the time frame is like a near future time frame where it just imagines of all the possibilities. A high extroverted intuition user wants to keep questions and things open. They might struggle with finishing things because they really like to keep their possibilities and options open. For example, an ENTP or an ENFP might make the mistake of seeing so many possibilities all the time and see them in such an optimistic way and overvalue, being overconfident with the potential of succeeding. But the problem with that is that those ideas have to be actualized. Therefore, the potential of succeeding is not the same as the actual likelihood of succeeding. ISTJs or ISFJs, on the other hand, might see possibilities in a negative sense. And that might be a justification for them to not do things because they believe that it will end up badly anyway. John Beebe explains that from the surface level, an extroverted intuition process looks like it's entertaining. I can definitely relate to this because in my surroundings, I have many extroverted intuition users who really entertain people with all of these possibilities, entertain people with just multiple different optimistic possibilities. But in the heart of the process, of extroverted intuition process is envisioning things to happen. But on the most evolved level, an extroverted intuition user is enabling things to happen, enabling the possibilities. Dario Nardi describes that extroverted intuition users easily notice and shift the patterns and relationships across multiple different contexts and dimensions. All kinds of stimuli are just springboards to generate more and more ideas. The brain activity goes high up and low again. It has highest highs and lowest lows. That's why an extroverted intuition user may find it hard to stay on one task or even few of tasks. They might be really good at role playing and mirroring other people. Okay, so what the hell is introverted intuition? Well, it's directed towards insight. It's focusing on the internal reality rather than the external. It is not perceiving details, but it's assessing multiple values at the same time so that it's much more vague and abstract. Of course, it's also contemplating the dynamics and relationships between things. It's also forming future visions and alternative possibilities. But the difference is that it takes multiple data points and tries to find the similarities and commonalities between those. It tries to simplify them, getting into answers and conclusions. An introverted intuition user might find many open possibilities even stressful because there's less control in the situations, less certainty, and they prefer decisiveness. An introverted intuition user who would be a bit perfectionist is a person who wants things to be done or to be in certain ways. So this function is more concerned with a longer time frame in the future, long-term future visioning. So INFJs and INTJs, since they are high optimistic introverted intuition users, they might see these patterns everywhere, you know. They might be thinking that there's patterns everywhere, but there's not enough concrete information to back this up with their low extrovert sensing, so they're afraid of taking actual steps towards these visions. Low introverted intuition users like ESFPs and ESTPs are focused so much on taking all the concrete information from the environment, like having experiences, that they might be afraid of making actual decisions based on the data, or they might be really naive or simplistic with their conclusions of the complex data. John Beebe says that from the surface level, an introverted intuition seems like it's imagining things. But on the heart of the process, introverted intuition user is knowing, just inherently knowing things. On the most evolved level, an introverted intuition user is divining. What the hell is divining? Okay, John Beebe explains that it's like deeply, inherently knowing and understanding, like the true intuitive meanings, just seeing the heart, understanding the deep meanings of things, of visions. Nardi explains that introverted intuition users focus on what will happen next, and they use their whole brain energy to think of the future, and they are very aware of where they are in an open-ended task, which means that they are aware if the task is moving forward or not, and they like to envision things. They have an understanding of their own and other people's inner potential. As an introverted intuition user, I always feel like people can do so much, you know? You just need to lift a bit, maybe in a bit harsh way, and people can do amazing things. You have no boundaries, no limits. If you feel like you did not understand anything I said, everything was just so abstract and weird, okay, let me just put this really simply. So an extroverted intuition user is going to take data points from his or her own memory and past, and to come up with multiple different ideas and possibilities and meanings and dynamics between different things in 3D dimension to understand like just everything. On the other hand, and the introverted intuition user gathers all these data points, sees the patterns and similarities, wants to simplify them into one like tunnel, just like having tunnel vision forward, just seeing this one road. Then extroverted intuition users is seeking to chase multiple ideas, and an extroverted sensing user as well as introverted intuition user is chasing experiences to make sense of the world rather than like multiple ideas. If you have any questions, leave comments below. I'll answer you guys. We all need all thinking, feeling, sensing, intuition functions to work as proper human beings. Click the follow button if you have not yet done that. See you soon.